Have you ever had one of those moments? You're just going about your day and it hits you. You don't really know where you're headed. If you felt that, I want you to know you're not alone. It's an incredibly common feeling, and it is not a sign that you're failing. So today, let's actually break down why that happens and, more importantly, what we can do about it. It usually starts with this quiet little question that just pops into your head. You're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing. You've got the job, the routine, you're checking the boxes. But in the back of your mind, this question just keeps whispering. Is this it? It's that feeling of being on a train, but you have no idea if it's even going to the right destination. And this right here is the most important idea to grab onto. Feeling lost doesn't mean you've done something wrong. It just means you've outgrown your old map. That weird, uncomfortable space you're in, that's not failure. That's the construction zone for the next version of you. It's actually a starting line. So why does this happen to so many of us? Well, one of the biggest reasons is a huge shift in how our lives are structured. We go from a world that was pretty much planned for us to one where we're suddenly handed the entire blueprint and told, okay, you build it. Just think about it. For years, life had a clear structure, right? There was always the next grade, the next exam, the next level to beat. The goals were given to you. But now, suddenly you're standing in a field of endless possibilities, and what sounds like freedom can actually feel like immense pressure. There's so many choices, and it creates this anxiety that we have to make the one single perfect choice. And this is the trap. This is where we all get stuck. We get so afraid of making the wrong move that we just think and think and think. It's called paralysis by analysis. We're trying to figure out the entire 10-year plan before we even take step one. And since that perfect plan doesn't exist, we end up doing nothing. And that's the exact moment feeling lost hardens into feeling stuck. But, it's not all just in our heads. That internal pressure is only half the battle. There's this huge external force that's constantly pouring gasoline on the fire. And that's the habit of comparing our journey to everyone else's. This visual just says it all, doesn't it? We scroll through our feeds and we see the highlight reel. We see that 20%, the promotions, the engagements, the perfect vacations. What we don't see is the other 80% hiding just out of frame. The messy, confusing, uncertain reality of how they actually got there. And this line, man, this is so crucial. We do this all the time without even realizing it. We're comparing our chapter 1, our messy, uncertain beginning, to someone else's chapter 20. It's a completely unfair comparison. You're looking at their highlight reel while you're still in the middle of your own behind-the-scenes footage. Okay, so if overthinking and comparing are the things keeping us stuck, how in the world do we get out? The answer, it turns out, isn't about thinking harder. It's about a complete mindset shift from thinking to doing. This is it. This is probably the single most important takeaway. We wait around hoping for this big aha moment of clarity, like it's gonna fall from the sky if we just wish for it hard enough. But it almost never works that way. Clarity isn't something you find, it's a byproduct. It's the result you get after you take action. I love this way of thinking about it. Imagine you're building something, but you don't have the final blueprint. You don't just stand there and stare at the empty space, right? No, you lay one brick, then you lay another. And as you build, you get feedback. You see what works, and the structure starts to take shape on its own. Your life's direction, it works the exact same way. So every single time you try something, a new hobby, a small side project, anything, you are gathering valuable data. You learn what you like, what you absolutely hate. Both are useful. Even the wrong steps are amazing teachers because they tell you which paths not to take. And maybe most importantly, just the act of moving forward, even in a small way, builds momentum and confidence. Okay, so theory is great. But what does this actually look like in real life? How do we put this into practice today, right now? Let's get really practical. This reframe is everything. We need to stop asking that huge, terrifying question, what should I do with my life? It's just too big, it's paralyzing. Instead, let's swap it for a much smaller, much more powerful question. What can I try next? See the difference? The first one demands a lifelong commitment. The second one just asks for a small experiment. So here's a super simple experiment you can start this week. First, just pick one curiosity, not something you think you should do, not something that sounds impressive, just something you're genuinely kind of interested in. Step 2, give it 1 week. That's it, a small, defined amount of time. And third, at the end of the week, just assess how it felt. Did you enjoy it? Did you learn anything? There is zero pressure to continue. The goal is not to find your lifelong passion in 7 days. The only goal is to collect a little bit of data about yourself. And I really want to leave you with this thought. If you feel lost, please hear me on this. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are simply at the beginning of a new chapter, the one where you start figuring things out for yourself. This is a normal and honestly a necessary part of building a life that truly feels like your own. Because in the end, that's all it really comes down to. Nobody has it all figured out, I promise you. The only difference between people who stay stuck and people who find their way is that the second group just keeps taking that next small step, especially when the path isn't clear. So, what's your next step gonna be?